Yes.
Live, we're doing it.
We started a lie. See, the tweet has gone out.
Is it in English?
Yes.
They fixed that a long time ago.
I know, but it's still fun to think about.
It's a funny bug, though. It was a funny bug. Or feature, either one. Hello and welcome to episode 602 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, May 22nd, 2018. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Yo.
And showing way too much of himself on the internet from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
The cleanest asshole on the internet.
I gotta say, I had a colonoscopy. A couple days ago.
As the entire internet knows.
And
a successful one, clearly.
And if you follow my Twitter, you've certainly seen my large intestines. And you're welcome, internet.
What other video game podcast host would open up his private
spread wide? Yeah,
to this extent.
It's
to this extent.
It's
that you can let people into your life in a way that no other games journalist has previously done. I'd say.
Here's the thing. First of all, we all have colons.
Sure.
And
Sure.
you know what?
That's fair.
You know what? I'm awfully proud of mine. There's nothing wrong with it. It turns out, luckily, false alarm. There was, clean bill of health, and maybe I was a little proud. Maybe I wanted to show off a little. Maybe I wanted to brag. Maybe I wanted to say, look at all this hard work I did cleansing, and look how spacious and tidy it is in there. And you know what?
Come on inside.
I like to think of it.
Take a field trip.
Hashtag colon goals. Maybe that's a little something for you guys to strive towards as you get up there towards middle age. Maybe you want your large intestines to look just as nice. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Colon goals. Yeah.
It's quite frankly very beautiful.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, that bottle of stuff you had to drink looked terrible.
By the way, best thing ever on Twitter, the live tweeting of drinking that stuff.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I was getting people at work to read those tweets. Just like, this is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, I had to for those who don't follow Twitter, and again, there's pictures of my colon up there, so I don't know why you wouldn't.
Oh god,
that's right.
I had to drink because they make you this cleansing, like the day before.
Before they
flush out all the poop, all the you gotta get clean in there. And I go to the pharmacy. They give me this 4-liter jug.
It looked like a carboy you get with a wine kid.
Oh yeah,
it just looks massive. But anyway,
it's 4 liters is slightly under a gallon or slightly over a gallon. It's roughly a gallon of this jug, and there's maybe a centimeter worth of powder,
which is about 1 gallon too much of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's gross.
And you have to fill up the jug with water, and the powder you mix it up in there, it disintegrates, and then you have to drink the whole damn thing, like the day before you do, and the stuff. Do
you do it all in one go, or do you take it?
The way they explain to do it is you're supposed to drink like the night before, starting at 5:00 p.m. You're supposed to drink the first 3 liters of it, drinking like a glass full every 15 minutes.
How's
is what they recommend.
Though?
Oh, it is vile. It includes, this is the most useless a bonus item that you could get with the jug and the medicine. They include a little packet of lemon powder flavoring that you're supposed to mix in there, and it's supposed to make it taste a little better.
A little less dastardly.
It doesn't. It tastes like maybe an hour ago I put a few drops of lemon juice on my tongue before swigging a cup of seawater, because that's what it tasted like. That's what it tasted like, and it was weird because the stuff, it's mostly water, of course. Sure. There's the powder mixed in there, but it's mostly a gallon of water, and it has the viscosity of water, which means it flows very freely. But when you drink
both ends.
We're
getting to that part.
Holy crap!
Crap indeed.
When you down the stuff, it feels heavy going down. It feels thick, even though it isn't. It feels thick, and it has the taste of like rancid seawater. It's heavy and salty, and just like
maybe that's what this whole raw water thing is out there in California.
After about the third or fourth glass of this, I'm not kidding, I was in tears drinking it. I have a glass filled with the stuff, and the doctors recommend, put it in the fridge, have it cold. That makes it easier to down.
Deadens
and,
the taste a little bit.
and use a straw. They recommended a straw to help. So I'm drinking this stuff through the. So I'm taking this through just a giant.
With a straw would be worse.
And tears are flowing down my cheeks. And my poor wife is just sitting there watching me, just like, I'm so sorry, Phil. I wish I could
laughing
help you. I'm just
her ass off at you.
I don't want to drink any more of this stuff. And now I have to get up because I gotta go poop again. And you go and you sit on the toilet for 20 minutes,
and it comes rushing out.
I think you could call that stuff that you drank perfect for Switch.
I will say, I did
a lot of Hyrule Warriors getting played that night.
I did get a little bit of Hyrule Warriors finished that night. That is not inaccurate at all. It was like
that's why Phil keeps the Lysol wipes next to his Switch.
It's like holding it. Imagine getting like a giant bucket, like a big kind of industrial plastic bucket, filling it up with just water, and then just standing over a ledge and just tipping it completely upside down, and just the water just going just completely straight down. That's what the bowel movement was like. Drink. That is what the bowel movement was like. I sit down, and there's not even a moment to think. It's just rushing water. Just
God.
It's just like I expected. A moment to think. I expected a guy in a barrel going down, riding it down into the grinding low. It was
the log flume. Yeah.
It was. It was like going to a Gallagher show, because the first like 3 or 4 rows, you got to have that plastic to hold up because you're gonna get wet. It was not a good time, man.
I gotta say, the comments in the chat are great.
I haven't even looked.
Here, Aurelius Slave to the Box says, "Remind me never to borrow his Switch." Aurelius Mathman 1024 says, "How often do you drink seawater, Phil?"
You go swimming in the ocean, and you're bound to inhale a little bit. So it's not
just
like
some.
Come on, anyone who's been in the ocean knows what water tastes like. Come on.
Listener Seth says, "Did you shower after?"
I got a lot of showering done during that time too. Yeah, because boy, it's like your insides feel clean, but your outsides feel unclean. And I go there. I get to the doctor. Oh, and the final leader, BT Dubs, they expect you to drink the morning before the procedure, and you have to finish it at least 2 hours before the procedure.
They don't want any onrush of fluid.
Right.
there.
They don't want to
That
be.
makes sense. That makes sense.
You don't want to have a camera halfway up there and suddenly
Oh God!
it comes cascading out again. So just and the force,
your finger over a faucet, just
it's like the little Dutch boy with the dike, sticking the finger in there trying to save his town. But you go there and they hook me up to the IV because they sedate you for it.
There's
They don't
no fluid left in your body.
I know. Well, that's just it. Yeah. And they actually said that you're probably dehydrated, so we're gonna hook you up to an IV. We're gonna put pump some medicine in here to sedate you, some anesthetic. You're not completely knocked out during it. Although they did warn me, they were like, you might fall asleep, you might just be kind of dazed. I did fall asleep because I was up very late the night before.
Pooping.
Guess I was going to turn it into a game where you had to guess why I was up late. Was I watching some TV? Was I playing some games? Maybe reading a book? No, I was up pooping. So I fell right asleep. They also warned me that because the anesthetic they give you is not the strongest, they don't want you completely out. But they warned me that you might wake up maybe about halfway through. And they told me
not where you are.
They said you're not going to feel, you won't feel anything. Because apparently, I guess I learned this, your large intestines has no pain receptors in it.
Well, that's good to know.
Oh. So they were like, you won't feel anything, but you're going to be awake, you're going to be on your side, and you'll be facing the screen where you'll be able to see what's on the camera.
Oh God.
And they said, so don't freak out. Okay,
that's became a microcosm.
Yeah, this is what you're gonna wake up.
Sega CD.
You may
that's like Sewer Shark.
You may see your colon. Don't worry, don't freak out. Everything will be fine. And I did. I woke up as the camera was working its way back out. So I have a lot of missing time because I was really dazed. I very distinctly remember waking up, not really being able to move because I was too tired, and just kind of looking at the screen and going like, well, look at that. I guess that's the inside of my butt. Okay. That's cool. And I just kind of sat there and watched for a little bit. And then I have a vague memory of then being in my car with sirens and people screaming, "Dear God, who let that man drive?" That's not true. My wife drove me home.
Get an Uber.
No, my wife went along.
That'd be a great conversation.
You're gonna have to warn him.
Show him the pictures.
You may have some explosive, very watery.
I haven't had fiber in a week, and I've been drinking a lot of poop juice. So I remember waking up. I remember a little bit of sitting in my passenger seat on the way home, and then I remember waking up in my bed. But getting dressed after the procedure, actually walking out to my car, I have no memory of it. And my wife, I asked Dana, I was like, "Did you help me get dressed afterwards?" And she said, "Well, a little bit, but you did most of it yourself," which is something I recall nothing of. So,
all right,
but yeah, they gave me a printout with some pictures of my gut, and
then you posted them on
posted them in the internet.
I did. I posted them on the internet. I did that. I distinctly remember doing that on the drive home, sitting in the passenger seat, going, "Well, this is something that needs to be shared with the world."
Yeah, absolutely.
and my wife, who is lovely,
please stop, Phil,
and wiser than I remember her saying, "Are you sure you want to do that, Phil?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I do," and so I did.
Yeah.
And
halfway through retweeting that on the Player One account, I thought, should I retweet this? Or should I just go ahead and hit that button? And then my finger slipped and I hit the button.
I know for a fact that one of my coworkers stopped following my Twitter after that. I know that for a fact. I was alerted to that.
That's yep.
And you know what?
You want. That's what
you know what? You know what? You know
Yeah.
why I think he did?
Why?
Jealousy.
Hmm.
Jealousy. Because you know what? You look at that and you think, I wish I had what Phil had. A colon that clean. So,
well, you hook him up with your doctor, and maybe he or she will get that chance.
yeah, well, you never know.
That beautiful chance. All right.
But yeah, I it was an adventure. Got a little game time in on the toilet, and had a pictures taken of the inside of my butt.
Sure.
So I'm having a pretty good week.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, how about you guys? Anything up your butts this week?
No.
Don't even.
I'm not hearing a no, Greg.
In other news,
Yeah.
you guys hear this rumor? That Retro Studios is working on a Star Fox game, but not just any Star Fox game. No. The rumor is that they're working on a Star Fox racing game called Star Fox Grand Prix. And
better be an F-Zero clone.
Well, that's the rumor. It's apparently somewhere between F-Zero and Diddy Kong Racing. And apparently the production has been very troubled. That's another rumor. Which is like,
but you know what? The production of Metroid Prime was very troubled.
Extremely troubled. There were all sorts of reports that game was not going to turn out well.
Yep.
And look at it now. It's beloved by many. Yep. So, yeah. The internet reaction, of course, was
calm and rational, as always.
Yeah.
Calm and rational, yes. Whereas, when I when I heard the rumor, all I could think of was Mario plus Rabbids, where everybody, had a bad reaction to that. And that was before we knew anything about the game or saw any footage or anything. And that turned out just fine. So you know what? Star Fox Grand Prix, I'm going to delay judgment like I should, really, until we see a trailer or actually see what the game is. What do you think?
If the game is.
If the game is. Right, because it's just a rumor. We don't know. This could be one of those, remember the NX rumor with the oval screen? That had the reflection of some trees at an Ubisoft office in France. People were convinced was the thing, and that
those trees don't grow in that part of the world.
or the myriad printouts of like treehouse presentations and stuff. Like, you can't trust any of that stuff anymore.
Confidential stamps on it. E3's right around the corner. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, we'll know in like 3 weeks. We'll know in a month. We'll know
exactly.
God, it's that close.
Yeah. But what do you think there, Greg, about your Star Fox Grand Prix?
I mean, when I first hear that, the first thing that pops to mind is why, because it feels like it would most likely be something similar to a Mario Kart, where it's like they already have Mario Kart and flying is a part of Mario Kart. But over the years, the Star Fox crew have had various vehicles that could take care of the flying and driving sections. So in a Mario Kart, so it's kind of like, to me, it's like, are we doubling up in an area that we don't really need to? But if it's closer to an F-Zero, bring it on. I mean, I love it.
Wasn't there already crossover between those worlds? Isn't one of the Star Fox characters a character in F-Zero?
James McCloud is a human, a humanoid. James McCloud but his F-Zero racer is, if I remember correctly, isn't it kind of look like an R-Wing as well? So,
but the thing is, for me personally, if you're going to make it closer to F-Zero, I'm not sure why you're not just making an F-Zero game.
That's also true.
Like I feel like
Yeah.
you're kind of limiting yourself by theming it around Star Fox.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there are other details in it that it's like mission based and has a story and all this other stuff.
doesn't do
So,
anything for me.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll
But
see.
you know,
Kong was
Diddy
kinda
Kong.
like-
You know what? Diddy Kong was good
yeah.
at first. I
Yeah.
found I tired of that game really fast.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember being really excited about it when it came. I remember getting it for Christmas one year. My brother gave it to me for Christmas one year,
Right.
and loved it for like the
Yeah.
first week.
Yeah.
And then it was like I've played enough of this. Like I'm done now.
You know what though? I think I think Retro could take that kind of formula, that style of gameplay, and do a better job of it than Rare.
Well, and that's what I was about to say is that this is Retro, and the Metro Prime series has been excellent.
Yeah.
Their work on the Donkey Kong Country games has been outstanding.
Yep.
I mean, I've liked every Nintendo property they've worked on, so we'll definitely be giving this a chance.
Yeah. And I would dare say that if it was a game that had multiple playable characters and that sort of thing, I think the Star Fox cast is certainly more interesting than Tip Tup the Turtle or whatever stupid characters they made up for Diddy Kong Racing. So
Yeah.
Sure.
If the rumors are true, I am cautiously optimistic. I'll say, just given Retro's history with Nintendo franchises and all that sort of thing. So
The only thing that I will say though is that it feels like it's continuing. Well, not continuing because it wasn't a trend until now, but it almost makes it feel like this is becoming a trend where Nintendo might be plugging sort of dormant franchises into games that really don't need them. Like, like the last Metroid game.
right.
Like, that I don't even remember what it was called.
What do you mean, Federation Force?
Federation Force. That didn't need to have Metroid attached to it.
No, it probably didn't. Right.
And I'm wondering if, like, Star Fox Grand Prix, just the name alone feels like such a stretch.
Right.
But we'll see. It might still be really good.
Yeah.
In fact, I think there's a better chance that it'll be really good than not. But,
Although it would be kind of a bummer if they sort of shove F-Zero to the side and kind of forget about it, because F-Zero is
well, they
great.
essentially have. I mean, there hasn't been F-Zero.
That's true.
Since the GameCube.
Right.
Has there? Yeah.
One of the GBA games may have come out.
Yeah, I guess it was running on GBA, but I mean, that also feels pretty secondary.
No.
Yeah.
It's just a shame because F-Zero is so great.
Yeah.
Well, Sony is ending production of PlayStation Vita carts.
I think the bigger news there is that Sony was still making PlayStation Vita cards.
Well, it was they were manufacturing them for third parties that were
boot games
like limited run
retail,
like limited run games and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
So is this? I guess this marks the end then for limited runs Vita output as well.
Well, I guess that would be the case.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah. At least from Sony. I mean, we do have carts and cards and stuff that come out after the company that originally made them stops making them, right? So you got to wonder. There seems to be a market for the Vita if this is actually the end, or if it just means that someone else is going to kick up
actually the end of Zombie Keating.
Yeah. Kick up something. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the real news is they were still officially making them.
I guess so.
I guess they were. So
yeah.
I guess does that mean the Vita's finally dead? I don't know. I think the Vita was dead when
it's been dead for a while.
Exited retail when you were unable to buy new hardware at retail.
Right.
Easily. Anyway, did you hear about this one? Best Buy is apparently ending Gamers Club Unlocked.
That happened up here for a while ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprised it took this long.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Posted to Reddit. and I guess they confirmed it.
Yeah.
That they're not going to have any new signups. So
Well, there you go.
there you go.
I guess that means I don't have to.
Does anyone know if they changed? I don't know why you would know this unless you're Best Buy card holders, but
Yeah.
did they change credit card companies recently
I don't know.
or anything?
I
Because
have
they
no
did that
idea.
up here, and it's really changed a lot of their policies have changed because
Huh.
they
Oh,
they
really?
switched credit card companies and then they changed a bunch of policies. So
Huh.
yeah, so I'm wondering if that's part of it because I think that was around the time that it wasn't called Game Club Ultimate up here, but there were two versions of their points clubs and one was game specific. But yeah, they ended it right around the same time. If memory serves, it was a while ago.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know when my Gamer Club Unlocked membership is expiring, but I don't see much reason to go to Best Buy then after that.
There you go. Hacker Elias Slave to the Box is saying yes, they did change their.
Oh,
card.
really? Okay.
So that might be why. I don't know.
Might
but
be part of it.
That might be the thing.
Yeah.
Or just part of a general, policy changes.
Right.
Since I'm all digital, it does not impact me.
Shut up.
All right. No Man's Sky. Everybody loves No Man's Sky.
One man's lie.
And now you can love it even more because in July the game is getting an update that enables multiplayer play.
Ah.
Wow.
Additionally, they're doing a release on the Xbox One, and the box art has 4 characters walking towards whatever resource they're about to farm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Can't wait.
I have not booted up No Man's Sky in a long time, but I did enjoy playing it when it was new. I was not a hater, but then again, I was not really like hanging on Sean Murray's every word and promise that of what the game would have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Huh. I'm a Gamers Club Unlocked member through the end of September 2019. So
Nice.
I still have a fair amount of time left to take advantage of that.
You sure do.
That's how much I care about No Man's Sky. I was looking up my Best Buy membership.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Speaking of Microsoft news, Microsoft has revealed an accessibility-minded Xbox controller. Don't know if you saw the video.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool and good for them.
I saw that.
It looks great.
So I've seen the pictures. I didn't really read up on how it works. I mean, it looks like a dual turntable.
Yeah, it looks like
it's way more than that. But.
Yeah, how does it I mean it's fantastic. How does it work though?
So the device itself has a D-pad and then 2 large programmable buttons on it. And then it has a bunch of ports at the back that you can basically
16 ports.
Connect a lot of different accessibility devices to it. So depending on what you need to control, you can get a different type of joystick or controller that will just plug in and adapt to it, which is awesome. Yeah.
So the 2 giant things that look like turntables are actually just big buttons.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And they worked with Able Gamers on it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean those ports in the back are basically one like analog to every button that exists on an Xbox One controller.
Wow.
So they just give you the versatility to plug in whatever you want. My understanding is to more or less control those buttons.
Okay. Yeah,
that's right.
I love it. I love that they've done this. I've loved that they've been so public about it. It's been way too long in coming.
Yeah.
For like a first party like console manufacturer to do something like this. So yeah, really, really excited about it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Totally. Also announced on the Inside Xbox stream that Microsoft did, apparently there's a Halo arcade game coming, developed by Raw Thrills.
You can win tickets and get stuffed animals.
Is that true?
I don't know. That's what all arcades now are they?
That's pretty much what they are. Yeah.
Is Raw Thrills? Are they one of those companies that are still making like light gun games for the arcades?
That's right. So. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the name a few times.
Okay.
Or like the latest cruising game. I don't know
Yeah.
how new it is, but there's a cruising game out there in some arcades now. And
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Eugene Jarvis, everyone's favorite, started the company Raw Thrills.
Is that right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that at all. That's
At least
pretty
that's
cool.
what it says in this Game Informer article that I'm reading.
Had the Wikipedia backs you up there.
All right.
Eugene Jarvis, 2001, headquarters in Skokie, Illinois.
Skokie.
So all of you
Perfect.
folks from the Chicagoland area,
Video game industry's coming back.
there you go.
It used to be a hotbed of the video game industry.
Back in the day. Oh yeah,
That's true.
Midway was there.
Yeah.
And Konami had a headquarters there.
Jalico.
There were a ton of companies in Illinois.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
jeez. I'm looking at Raw Thrills Wikipedia page. Apparently I don't know if they published or had a hand in developing, but world's largest Pac-Man.
Oh,
Which I
yeah.
think
they
we
do
saw-
those gigantic machines. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it at Scoop Fest last year at the Dave and Buster's in Vegas.
The world's largest Space Invaders at the arcade here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they did the new Ninja Turtles arcade game that came out this year, and
The arcade's kind of thriving again, but it's only a few companies, and it's kind of not what you would think it is. Not what old folks like us would think of it as. But
right,
That's
You
true. Angry
Here's the thing.
Birds and
they've totally like the
rope.
theaters here. They recently retrofit all of them. Like they all had sort of small arcade areas, but I
Mhm.
know the entire lobby of the theater that I go to now is one big arcade.
Oh really?
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
they really doubled down on it.
Okay.
That's cool. Well, this one's called Halo Fireteam Raven, and it apparently tells the story of an ODST squad during the story of the original Halo.
So is it going to be a Lycon game? I'm guessing.
It appears from the screenshot shown that it is.
Okay. Okay, which makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a big cabinet with 2 guns.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, there you
There you
go. Noise.
Totally noise. All right. Apparently, you're going to need to register in advance to play Smash Brothers at E3.
Ridiculous.
Really?
And don't say ridiculous though, because
I just
don't
did.
know if- don't say ridiculous though, because Sony has been doing the reservation thing for at least 2 or 3 years in their
Ridiculous.
booth, and the same thing for the PlayStation experience. You
See, I
have
feel
to
like this is another example of
reserve
you
slots.
giving Nintendo a pass because someone else did a bad thing first. No, I'm sure it makes tons of sense.
I mean, what would you rather have? Like a huge line that you stand in and have no chance of
Yes.
playing the game at E3, or
You know why? Because I
having
would
no chance of registering via an app or whatever they're going to end up doing, and instead just watching people play it from afar while a single tear rolls down your cheek.
Funny, I feel like in both those situations, the end result is me watching people play it from afar.
Probably true. Probably true. Yeah, I don't expect to be able to play it at E3. I'm set up for heartbreak. But then again, Smash Brothers, I know what Smash Brothers is.
Yeah,
It's like needing to line up and play the new Mortal Kombat. I
Is it
know what
gonna-
I'm going to get.
Is it going to surprise you?
No.
Is that
No, it's not.
is your 10-minute demo of Smash Brothers at E3 is what's going to push you over the line to convince you to buy it?
No,
Yeah, exactly.
it's absolutely not.
right.
Although Star Fox Grand Prix, maybe
Yeah.
that could be good.
It's true.
But anyway, Shenmue 3 release date pushed down into 2019.
To the surprise of
No one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Boss Key Productions.
Oh
makers
yeah,
of Lawbreakers and Radical Heights,
and
led
other
by-
games you never played.
led by Cliffy B. Yeah, other games you never played, has closed down, and Cliffy B says he's going to take a break. And he tweeted out some concepts that apparently they pitched to publishers that they said no to. So interesting
Everyone's
stuff.
got hundreds of those.
Oh yeah,
There you go. always a bummer though to see a studio close down.
that's true. I guess
Yeah.
Radical Heights, which went into extreme early access like a month ago, wasn't enough to save them.
Mhm.
And not particularly surprising because it's a battle royale game in a market that is currently completely obsessed with Fortnite.
Right.
And if not Fortnite, then PUBG.
But really Fortnite.
But mostly Fortnite.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's on mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, the NES Classic returning to stores on June 29th.
About time.
Yeah.
That's where I brought that up last week.
So if you,
I feel like you did.
Did we?
I mentioned that last week.
All right. Did I go back too far? Oh yeah. Wait, that was breaking news.
It was breaking news last week. Yeah.
That's right. Well, if you missed it last week, June 29th.
Hot off the press. Yeah.
That's right. And that's the news. So I think we should get into what we have been playing. And Phil, since you had a camera up your butt, let's kick it off with you.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So you know what I picked up this week? The latest Switch release, the hottest new release on the Switch. And of course, by new release, I mean an old game to come out for the Switch. I refer, of course,
the best version of an old game, right?
That's true. Whatever. I'm referring, of course, to Johnny Turbo's Arcade Super Burger Time.
Johnny Turbo's Arcade.
That's the version of Burger Time that I remember playing as a child.
It's the one we all played when we were kids. Super Burger Time.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Burger Time game. I like Burger Time.
Good time.
That Burger Time, that original game was great.
Yeah. What was there was a Peter Pepper's ice cream factory or something like that. There was a Burger Time sequel back in the day.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I ever played. I believe there was also. I'm getting heavy into Burger Time lore here. We should have Seabake on the show. I know he's a big Burger Time nut. I believe there was an Intellivision exclusive sequel called Diner back in the day.
Really? Huh.
Oh, yeah. And then you have I believe it was a Game Boy Color game. You had the Flintstones Burger Time in Bedrock.
Nice.
You know, your licensed one. And Super Burger Time, I think, was it a Neo Geo game? It might have been.
Sure.
Might have been. But it was an arcade game. And it's Burger Time. I don't know. I don't have the giant case in front of me. But it's Burger Time with prettier graphics. Except now, in classic Burger Time, you're trying to you're walking over giant burger ingredients to make them fall down the screen. Now walking over them doesn't make them fall. You actually have to stand on them and jump on them repeatedly to jostle them loose.
What?
Which is an odd mechanic. I don't know how that stacks up to the classic Burger Time fun, but it's a good game. It's a cute little game. I'm glad to have it.
Okay.
Have you played any of the Johnny Turbo arcade releases?
No. Okay,
so I've picked up 3 of them so far. I picked up Bad Dudes, of course. I picked up Sly Spy, which is another side-scrolling Data East arcade game in the vein of like Bad Dudes or RoboCop. And then I picked up the Burger Time game. So it's just kind of a quirk because they're really trying to brand. I believe it's Flying Tiger Entertainment.
That's right.
The publisher. They're really trying to brand this whole Johnny Turbo arcade thing as
it's the new virtual console.
It's the new virtual console. It's the new Sega Ages. They're really trying to sell the branding of the Johnny Turbo arcade, and they do this, and it's a little awkward. And I guess I see what they were trying for, but it doesn't really work. When you start up the game, the Flying Tiger logo comes on the screen, and then you get an image of the Johnny Turbo's Arcade logo, which is just the text Johnny Turbo's Arcade, and then a little chibi-fied drawing of the Johnny Turbo character. But then instead of just showing the logo, you have a voiceover.
Oh, God.
Which I'm assuming is Johnny Turbo himself, Jonathan Brandstetter, just actually saying, Johnny Turbo's Arcade presents. And then, it cuts to like
What does he think he's
a title screen?
That
Exactly. And then you get, super burger time. And it's really weird having just, someone reading the name of the production studio and then reading the name of the game in kind of a flat voice. It's not Johnny Turbo's Arcade presents Bad Dudes. It's just Johnny Turbo's Arcade presents Bad Dudes. It's just just a weirdly vanilla and bland kind of intro to these old arcade games. So
okay,
I mean, I understand the need to build the brand.
Have somebody want to be like, hey, what you gonna play on your Switch today? Oh, yeah, Bad Dudes. That arcade feel.
Bad Dudes.
Have somebody hovering over your shoulder.
Yeah, that hype of the old classic arcade game. Yes, I picked up that. I also picked up the other old game to come out on Switch this week. I refer to, of course, and this is exciting because there's finally a good Zelda game on the Switch. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I snuck
good.
that.
No, I'm with you.
I snuck that in there.
Yep.
Hyrule Warriors, of course, previously a Wii U release with a 3DS version as well, has now come to the Switch. In the definitive edition, it contains all the content from the Wii U version. It contains all the extra content that was added to the 3DS version, and you have all the DLC for both games.
That's a lot of game there.
It's a lot of game. I mean, see, the thing about these Warriors games, these Musu games, there's a lot of game in those.
That's true.
Those Musu games. Those Musu games have a ton of content, and this certainly follows suit. But I picked it up, and this sounds. I hate saying it, and I know Greg hates hearing it.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I am playing this one more than I played the other ones, just because it is on Switch, and I can play it while I'm evacuating my bowels. But you know what? It wasn't agony, though. The actual defecation was not agony because it flowed so freely. CJ.
Oh, okay. It was just the drinking of the stuff.
It was the drinking that was the rough part. Yeah. The actual,
that was all pleasure.
It's just sit back, relax, let the spice flow.
Green Hill Zone all the way.
But yeah, so I'm playing a lot of Hyrule Warriors, which it's a little more chemical plant zone to be sure. But yeah, no, I'm it's a Warriors game. I enjoy those, as we all know. And it's a very good Warriors game, and so I'm having some fun with it.
Really is good.
I'm having some fun with it. So.
Hyrule Warriors on this is a game so nice I bought it thrice because I do indeed have. I mean, no shock to anybody, right? I have it on the Wii U, I have it on the 3DS, and now I have it on the Switch. And this was the game that made my opinion of the Warriors series. Turn right, and I mean, One Piece Pirate Warriors is also very good. I think what it comes down to is I need some kind of license that I already like.
There you go.
Mixed with that, I can't just go directly to ancient China because I'm not into those historical figures.
Because you're racist. But
if they make a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure version of it, I will totally play that.
Oh man, you're Genghis Khan running through a mall with a baseball bat and a skateboard, just beating the hell out of mannequins and shoppers.
That's called Dead Rising.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true. Get the PC version and get some skin mods to turn Frank into Genghis Khan. This is the same way of thinking, by the way, CJ. That keeps you so entranced by that 2011 Thundercats series.
I really liked that.
That wasn't particularly good, and it keeps you from watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You're probably right. I like the imitator more than the original.
You need that familiar license on there. I understand.
So true.
I understand.
I'm sure you saw that new Thundercats news.
Oh, Thundercats Roar?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new show that the internet hates,
The internet does not like that.
but the target audience is probably going to love.
Exactly.
I'm
Just
all
like
for
that
it.
Nancy strip.
Sure, the old fogies hate new Nancy, but
It'll probably be good, right? Did you watch the video?
I did.
That Entertainment Weekly posted?
I'm excited for Thundercats Roar.
I mean, you look at the art and you're like, how's that going to work? And then you watch the video and you're like, oh, that works.
Yeah. Then again, I also love Teen Titans Go. So,
well,
Teen Titans Go is amazing.
That's your problem.
Thank you, Greg Stewart. Greg Stewart knows.
Teen Titans Go is great.
Yes, it is.
So
you better watch yourself, buddy. I know where you work. That's Cartoon Network's bread and butter, buddy.
I know.
Yeah,
I know that.
But Hyrule Warriors is a lot of fun, and I'm really digging it. And I am, few levels, and I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between the story mode, which has a name. I forget the actual name of I don't think it's called story mode, but and then there's
quest mode or something.
Yeah. And then adventure mode is the mode where you're presented with like an 8-bit style map, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Square to square and accomplish
Which I
missions.
never quite understood exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in those. Like it's just not, I feel like it would be clear, but there's like 3 details that I'm not being told.
Right. To be fair, Warriors games do tend to have a few features like that in there, where it's just kind of like there's clearly a mechanic here that they're not doing a very good job of explaining.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm looking at it and I'm a little confounded by it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of muddling my way through it, and I think I'm doing this right, and maybe I'm getting the most out of this experience.
Am I? I don't.
But
really
I might not be.
Yeah.
No, so the adventure mode, you go through the map grid by grid, and each grid has a smaller objective, because a regular, when you're playing like the story mode, a level's going to take you maybe like half an hour.
Yeah.
Playing through story mode. But when you play the adventure mode, completing one of the missions, 5-10 minutes maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shorter burst, and then you progress your way through the map there, you kind of choosing which direction you want to go. And then there's you earn some levels, you can earn item cards.
Yeah.
Like you might earn a candle or a bomb, which you can then use on another grid to like burn down a bush or blow up a rock, and you'll hopefully find treasure in there and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a little confusing, but
yeah,
it's a nicer way to have the sort of short burst gameplay.
Totally.
Going through a whole level. But yeah, it's a fun game. I dig Hyrule Warriors. So
cool. Yeah. And that's all you've been playing?
It's burger time. It's Hyrule Warriors, and it's pooping. That's been my week.
Okay.
So
I see. I've been playing a couple video games.
Uh-huh.
The Onrush beta.
I heard about this
going on. Yeah, Onrush coming out from Codemasters and the team that worked on Drive Club, right?
Yeah, Evolution Software.
MotorStorm? Yeah, former Evolution people, I think, or is it just Evolution Studios?
I think it's former Evolution.
What is Onrush? This has completely gone under my radar.
So it is an arcade style racing game. It's more like MotorStorm probably than anything, but it's got elements of Burnout in this one as well. But it's team based, and you have different objectives. One of the objectives in the beta is this thing where your team has to pass through gates that add time to your life gauge or whatever.
Right.
And basically both teams are trying to race through those gates and prevent other racers on the opposite team from getting through the gates. And when time runs down, then a victor is determined, and you do best of 3 out of that.
Okay.
So it's different team-based objectives there. There are a bunch of different game modes, but it's very arcadey, very fast. Reminds me a lot of the older Burnout games, actually, because at least in the mode that I played, there were sort of cars that were racing along that were fodder for you to crash and get boost from. So really reminded me of Burnout Takedown in that, or even Revenge, because there were just so many of them on the course. So, but the tracks are fairly wide, like, and there's no like first, second place. You're not racing individually. It's like all, at least as far as I saw, all team-based stuff. So, and each different vehicle has different powers, and there are, just like MotorStorm, you have motorcycles and cars. So it plays pretty awesome. I only played like 2 or 3 games of it, but I am quite enjoying it, and I already bought the digital version, so I'm already
What is this? What is this for? What system?
It's for basically PS4 and Xbox One. I think it's coming to PC also.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there any actual racing in it?
Is there any actual racing
Like,
in it?
Yeah.
Trying to think about the question, because the mode that I played, which was just running through gates as the timer ticks down, isn't really racing like first, second, third.
Are we going to see any racing in this racing game?
You are in a car and you are trying to beat another team.
Okay.
Is there racing?
We've got Hacker Alias TFX God in the chat saying no, there is no racing.
There's no racing in Rush. Okay. Well,
and I don't know him nearly as well as I know you, but I'm going to believe him.
It's still still driving a car around a track, right? That's racing.
Sure.
That's what racing is.
That's driving.
It's driving. Okay, it's a driving game then. Let's just call it that.
I mean, I drive to the grocery store. I wouldn't
You're not
necessarily say I'm racing there.
Oh, it depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on the great values.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Depends on the
before the Brussels sprouts
theories.
are all sold out.
Depends on the conspiracy theories you're going to hear while you're there.
For people who don't follow my Twitter, there's a girl who works at the local grocery store who is a flat earther and
oh god,
and is really not shy about sharing her crazy conspiracy worldviews with me when I go shopping there.
Always a fun time to read those tweets.
It's really weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
And big surprise, I've been playing Sea of Thieves.
Go figure.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still having a lot of fun. Still playing with Greg's buddy Mike.
Right.
You guys are best friends now.
Yeah,
I think he's more your buddy than mine at this point.
When does he graduate into just being your buddy? When can you start? Does he feel bad? Do you ever think about his feelings when you just
I've known Mike a long time. Don't worry about his feelings.
When you box him into
certainly doesn't.
Greg's friend? He's not a real friend. He's Greg's friend.
He's my pirate friend.
Your pirate buddy?
Yeah, pirate buddy.
You're
No.
Nope.
No.
What?
No.
What?
Just let's move on.
Booty buddy, I think is.
Well, I wasn't gonna say
that. Yeah. So let me talk about some of the things that I ran into this week, because I think you'll find it pretty interesting.
You know what? Before you dive in, CJ.
Okay.
Here's what I've realized this past week.
What's that?
You've been talking a lot about Sea of Thieves, and you've been certainly tweeting a lot about Sea of Thieves.
That's very true.
And here's how your Sea of Thieves discussions come across to me. Okay.
Blah 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 blah.
No, it's like
the teacher in Peter.
It's like when you're asleep and you have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And in this dream, it's very cinematic, and it's a very epic and very just amazing.
Oh God.
With beautiful storytelling, and it's very exciting, and it feels so real. And you wake up, and it lingers with you, and you are constantly thinking about it and reliving this dream in your head. And oh my God, this dream was so great. You know, this action happened, and I said these things, and I did these amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
and then you try to describe that dream to your friend,
They do
and your
not
friend
care.
is just looking at you like,
It's almost excruciating as this explanation.
yeah,
Really.
I'm sure this seemed
Mhm,
very
mhm.
exciting when you were there living it,
Yes.
but now I'm
You
just
had
kind
to
of
have been
hearing,
there. You had to
I'm
have been
hearing
there.
words, and I don't know what to make of it. But go ahead.
That's what it's all about, though, Phil. It's about the journey, not
Yeah.
the destination.
Clearly,
See.
yeah. Yeah.
No, but like today, Mike and I were playing, as we sometimes do.
Greg's
And
friend, Mike.
yeah, Greg's friend Mike.
Greg's
Okay.
buddy.
And
Yep.
That's right. That guy
and
He's in the chat, by the way.
one of them
with a single tear rolling down his cheek.
Yep.
one of them skeleton forts pops
Okay.
on the map, and those pop like once every 3 hours on the server that you're on. And we decide to head over there and see if we can take down the skeleton fort. So we do that. My daughter's yelling something.
Oh my! Is he talking about Sea of Thieves again?
Oh yeah, she sure is. We yeah. I lost my.
I love your daughter more than ever.
So we head over to the skeleton fort. We start dealing with the waves of skeletons that appear there, and there's 10 waves of skeletons that you have to do, and then you have to defeat the captain, and you get a key, and it opens up a vault with a bunch of loot in it. So Mike and I are fighting the waves, and I'm looking out every so often to see if there's another ship coming, and we see a galleon coming. So that's 3 or 4 other players coming to the skeleton fort, as you might imagine that would happen. And they fire at us. They like board our ship, but they aren't able to sink us. Instead, they just sailed away. And we were left on the skeleton fort to complete it, which we did. And then as soon as we completed it, we grabbed the key for the vault, and we ran back to our ship and sailed away. And at that point, we realized we were being chased by not 1 galleon, but 2 galleons and a sloop, and then saw a 3rd galleon give chase as well. And we're in this tiny sloop, and we had to get away from these other ships. And we did this great move you can do in the game called an anchor turn, where you drop the anchor, pull the wheel all the way to one side, and you basically do a 180 and lift the anchor and start going the other way. A sloop can do that very easily. If you're on a galleon, like one of the big ships, it's very hard to follow that. So we were able to lose them, and then just wandered around the map. We changed the look of our boat as well, so that if anyone was had come looking for us, they wouldn't see us. And then
drive through a spray and pay or whatever it is.
Spray and pay. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Did exactly that. And then headed back over to the fort about an hour later, and by that time everyone had left and was not watching it anymore, and we were able to open it up and get the loot. Anyway, it seemed it is a very epic as it's happening to you. I see now as I'm describing it to you that it may have a quality of boring you to death.
It was awesome what had happened, I swear.
What had happened? It was so cool.
These discussions always remind me of discussions with my kids where they're really excited about the most simple run-of-the-mill situations, and you have to sit there and it's like, oh wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
Smile and nod. Yeah, but so I streamed it on Mixer. I'm thinking of starting up a new stream called Siege of Thieves.
That's great.
And
very clever.
And streaming some
Siege
of Thieves.
Like CJ.
Like that's right.
Like
that's
how we would how we would sometimes call you Siege.
That's yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
I got it. Okay. Because you always wrote that.
That'll be one of them 24-hour news networks, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So then you can experience the thrill of having 3 big galleons coming after you through my eyes, through the experience of probably Mike and myself playing Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I still love the game, and obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, you may have had to mute the hashtag Sea of Thieves because of me. But I really enjoy the game for those moments, those things that obviously I'm very excited about that you are not.
All I'm gonna say is your Sea of Thieves tweets and talks really helped me appreciate Ethan's loot box talks.
Wow. Something to think about. Something for me to think about there.
Oh boy.
But anyway, yeah, it's still a great game, and they're adding new content to it. A new event called The Hungering Deep starts on May 29th or comes out on May 29th, and it's apparently going to be a big shark that could eat your boat.
That's a big shark.
That is a big shark.
That's a bigger boat.
That's a megalodon.
Sharknado.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm talking with all sorts of people in the Sea of Thieves community, and it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun to get into a game this much, let me tell you.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever gotten into one game this much, but it's a good time.
Never.
Anyway, Greg, why don't you tell us about?
I don't even want to talk about my
plan.
You
got to play Sea of Thieves with your friend and me.
With you, wow! You just call him Mike.
Just flat out. Not even calling him by name at this point. He's just,
you like my dad or something. You don't know the names of any of the people I hang out with.
Like, you have to.
Your little friend was here looking for you.
You should play Sea of Thieves with Mike and I.
Tell him not to do that again.
It'd be fun.
Tell him he's not welcome here. So I've been in my ongoing playthrough of various Mega Men's.
Yeah.
Almost played through, kind of tried to play through Mega Man 2 on the Wily Wars, the Genesis Mega Man cartridge.
Right.
And I'll tell you what. So last week I talked about Mega Man 1 and how sort of the oddities of this game being developed by a different company than the original Capcom developers kind of made Mega Man 1 a lot easier than it was originally.
Yeah.
How did it ever have the opposite effect on Mega Man 2? That is one frustrating time. Wow. Yeah, it just it really makes you appreciate sort of the immediacy and really just how well Mega Man 2 was made on the NES to see it poorly remade on the Genesis. The jump lag was terrible. The shooting isn't as responsive or quick, which turns things like those, when you get to the Wily stages, especially, there are those corridors that have those little drills that come up and down.
Right.
And they're fairly random. I know they're not random, but they seem random when you're moving through them. Infuriating. Just like absolutely infuriating. Because you can't shoot fast enough to destroy any of them.
Oh, jeez.
It's very, very rare to destroy them. The drops are terrible. There's a weird... They instituted a weird thing, which I think did not happen in the original Mega Mans, where, how every now and then you'll have life power-ups that are just kind of sitting there, right? Like, you don't need to shoot anything for them to appear. They're just there. And I believe in the original games, if you died and respawned back before those had appeared, they would reappear.
Mm-hmm.
The Genesis versions, they don't. So you can get stuck in places where you just have to go back and farm like crazy for various, power-ups or weapon supply. And all. It got really frustrating. I was enjoying it right up until I got to the Wily stage and just was dying in all these insane places. And yeah, got really frustrated with it. But I'm kind of determined to do it because I know that, I really want to unlock Wily Tower because I've never seen it. And it's just frustrating because Mega Man 2 is the game that on the NES that I could basically play through with my eyes closed. In fact, to the point that the muscle memory that I have was killing me in this game because, the first stage when you're fighting the dragon at the end, so you hop across this chasm and a dragon appears and chases you, and then you get to this little area where there's like 3 blocks you can stand on, and then the dragon sort of floats up and down between them, and you have to shoot him with a quick boomerang. I think it's the best way to kill him. And because of Mega Man's knockback on the NES cartridge, I know that if I get hit, I need to sort of take a step forward to make sure that if I get hit again, I'm going to get knocked off the back of the block.
Right.
The knockback is completely different on the Genesis game. So every time I take a step forward, I literally just walk off the block.
Oh, jeez.
It just happened. I think I wasted 8 lives on that boss. Which,
Wow.
yeah, Phil, you would know, like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, he is not difficult
No.
at all. So, anyway,
Jeez.
it was disappointing. But I want to go back, and I'm guessing, because that game does save you progress, I'm guessing it's saved at the beginning of the Wily stage. So, probably the next time I play, that's probably where I'm going to play from. And I don't know if I'm going to beat it, but I'm really determined to do so just because I really want to unlock Wily Tower, and I feel like I'm going to be able to get through Mega Man 3 no problem. So
yeah,
but the playthrough continues. I also finished the Lego Batman movie expansion for Lego Dimensions.
Oh, very good.
Really good.
Oh yeah,
have you played it?
I have not.
You should play it.
Okay,
you'll really enjoy it.
I gotta sit down and do that.
Very well made. It's the amount of references in it are just great. The writing in it is fantastic. I mean, I think that's one of the things that makes the Lego games so much fun in my eyes, because they're very basic games. Otherwise, they're not difficult. They're just,
right.
And sometimes they've got some major issues from a technical standpoint. But for me, the writing is always the thing in those games, and the gags. And man, it's just in spades in the Lego Batman movie expansion. You'll really dig it, I think.
Cool.
So there's not really a whole lot more to say about that. It took me about 2.5, 3 hours to get through it.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's fairly meaty, so that's cool. But yeah, really enjoyed it. So I still have Ghostbusters and Fantastic Beasts to get through before I can finally put Lego Dimensions to rest. And then the other game that I played this week, another racing game came out that I'd forgotten was coming out this week, which was Horizon Chase Turbo.
Oh,
really? Horizon Chase, of course, was a game that I think I called it my favorite mobile game the year that it came out. It's basically an Outrun. It's an homage to Outrun. I wouldn't call it an Outrun clone, because that's not really. It isn't.
It's selling it a little short.
Yeah, I think so. So the whole idea is it's just circuit racing against a lot of other cars, and it's got sort of that great 80s aesthetic that I know, CJ, you love so much.
I do.
But it does definitely pay homage to Outrun, and it was great on mobile. And so this sequel, or I don't know if it's a sequel or it's just an update or whatever, but it's out on Steam and PS4 and I think Xbox and Switch. If not, maybe soon. I don't really know.
Switch. Not yet.
Not Switch yet. Okay. But still a whole lot of fun. Really easy pick up and play.
Nice.
You can pick it up, play it for like a few minutes and make progress. The racing is fun. There's lots of cars to race, which to me, that's kind of what it shares with Outrun. In that you almost always have other vehicles on the screen that you're sort of trying to navigate around. So it really, if there were like half the amount of cars that they have in the game, it would be boring, because there would just be a lot of time where you're not really doing much. Like, you're still steering, but there wouldn't be a whole lot of challenge, because the game is, at least early on, very forgiving. The circuits are very forgiving. Although I have gotten to the point now where it's definitely taking a little bit more skill to get through without bouncing off of roadside objects and everything. But I think it's pretty cheap. I think it's like only $22 here, so it's probably $15 maybe. I don't really know what the price is, but it's a whole lot of game. It's a lot of fun. It's got a beautiful aesthetic. I highly recommend it. It's got a good soundtrack too, and a lot of cars to unlock, and they're all based on sort of the 80s. A lot of them are like the 80s supercars that you sort of always had posters of, like the Testarossa and things like that. Just really a lot to like about it. So I highly recommend it. It was on, and if you haven't played the mobile version, play that too. Really good. So glad to see. It's been good for racing games lately, so it's nice to see.
Nice.
But still can't beat Mega Man 2, so there's that. That's all I got.
Good point.
Nice.
Right. Well, you know what that means.
I don't.
It's time for tweets.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Tisherms, who says, Hyrule Warriors is out again. What brand or license would make a good Muso game? Mario, Star Wars, Power Rangers?
I was going to say Star Wars.
Were you really?
Yeah, actually was.
I think you're right. That would.
Gungans versus droids.
It's exactly it. That's the whole game right there.
That is it.
Yep. No, I think a Star Wars game would be great. Running through with a lightsaber, hacking up dudes.
Yeah.
Going through as a little R2D2, zapping thousands of salacious crumbs. It'd be perfect. That's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah, throw in your battle droids if you want. Why not? Who cares?
Sure.
No, Star Wars would be great.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one makes a lot of sense.
That'd be another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always joked that Madden Muso would be a lot of fun. You just start on one end of the field, and there's like 2,000 players on the other team that you just have to knock down as you're rushing to the opposite end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. What about you, CJ? What other license could we tack on there that would get you interested?
Sea of Thieves.
That I would be very interested in that. Yes,
Of course you would.
I don't know. Trying to think. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Muso. Let's do it. We'll make it happen.
There you go.
Or Jurassic Park Muso.
That actually would be pretty great.
Why not?
Have
Let's
to
do it.
admit.
Let's make it happen.
Good. Yeah. Plowing through thousands of
Dr.
velociraptors.
Malcolm's.
You're just a T-Rex and just thousands of Jeff Goldblums.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
think we've got it.
Right.
I'm for it.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Sam Q Wood, who says, favorite moment with a Game Shark or any other cheating device. I always thought it was fun accessing content that was cut from a game but left on disk.
Well, first of all, I'm going to age all of us by saying you probably meant to say Game Genie instead of Game Shark. Because
well, he said Game Shark.
I know, but we all use the Game Genie, I'm sure, right?
I used a Game Shark.
Did you use a Game Shark more than a Game Genie though?
No, I used the Game Genie more than the Game Shark.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah.
I used to have, I remember being really excited about the Game Genie
right
for the NES when it came out. I thought it was really neat. I remember, getting it and messing around with, oh, look, Mega Man can moonwalk now and things like that. But
right.
Never really got too heavy into it. I had a Game Genie for my Genesis, and I know I used it on some games, but I couldn't tell you what they were. Like it doesn't really stick out.
Well,
yeah.
I was super stoked for the Game Genie back in the day. I actually imported one from Canada,
like they had to do.
Like we had to do. Exactly. Yeah, the Nintendo was trying to sue Galoob to prevent it from being sold in the U.S. So it got delayed for a couple months while that got all sorted out.
The funny thing, did they not run ads saying that you could import from Canada in American magazines? I want to say they did, but I'm not positive.
I don't remember.
Like did import companies do that? Like
I want to say that. I want to say that Codemasters might have done it.
Oh, really? I don't remember.
Whoever released it here. Was it Codemasters that released it up here?
No.
I thought they did. Well, it was a Codemasters device.
Right.
But I don't think they released it here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Galoob released it in the US. I'm talking about Canada. Work with me here.
Okay.
He's saying that Codemasters would have run ads in US magazines saying,
yes, thank you.
You can buy this from Canada. You can import it from Canada. I don't remember if that was the case, but they may very well have. I just might not be remembering that. Certainly, game magazines were talking about that.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm on the Wikipedia page, and many gaming magazines at the time, Galoob placed Game Genie ads saying "Thank you, Canada."
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's
interesting. Interesting.
But who the heck released it here? Now I'm trying to remember who. It wasn't Galoob that released it here. Anyway,
Camerica? Was it Camerica?
Camerica. That's what it was.
Okay. There you go.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I used the Super Nintendo Game Genie a lot to be able to play as other characters in Street Fighter.
Oh, like the playing as the bosses
Yeah,
in
'cause
the
you could
original Street Fighter
swap
2.
the sprites.
Right.
It didn't really impact gameplay, and it oftentimes looked really janky. But hey, it was
Right.
better than spending another $50 on Championship Edition or whatever for a little while. A little while.
Yeah, I didn't do anything too crazy with the Game Genie back in the day, other than stuff like give yourself unlimited health or invincibility, and
Right.
and
Like
that
that's how
sort of
I
thing.
used it.
Yeah, I didn't. Talking the way Sam Q would here is about using it to access stuff that was cut from the game. I didn't really do that. It was
No, yeah.
always for the purpose of just kind of making it easier for me to plow through games without worrying about losing lives or anything. But
Yep.
one thing I
Same.
did like doing, especially with and again, this is something I think you could probably more easily do on a Game Genie than a Game Shark, was just take some of the older NES games and just kind of put in random strings of letters and numbers and see if it had results. And I remember
I used to do that a lot too.
the original Super Mario Brothers was very easy to modify with just random codes. And it would usually just be you'd mess up the colors. It would modify the color palette or something. But back in the day, something as simple as that was just really neat to see and discover. It's like, ooh, it's the game is ugly and unplayable now, but it's ugly and unplayable because I hacked into it and found a secret code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I rented the NES Game Genie from Blockbuster. Yeah.
I still have all the Game Genies.
Yeah.
There was the NES, the Genesis, the SNES, the Game Boy, and a Game Gear.
Ah.
There were Game Genies.
Oh, it's like
for
the
all
Game
of
Boy
those.
Game Genie just did that little door for the code book.
Yeah. Came with
adorable.
a tiny little code book.
Yeah, it's adorable.
that's stored in the device itself. And I don't know if you remember this, it also came with sheets of stickers that had the codes printed on there, and you would peel off the codes and you could stick them right on the game cart.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
interesting. Huh.
Yeah, so I a handful of my old Game Boy collection has stickers on the back with the Game Genie codes on them. So
Interesting.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah, it was actually pretty clever.
It's good design considering you're always going to be on the go with that. So
Right.
Later on, I had the Action Replay, and the Game Sharks that came out later allowed you to boot import games.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
the yeah, I remember too at some point I know they were working on making one for the Sega CD. I'm not sure how that was going to work, but it was announced at one point.
A Game Shark or Genie?
Yeah, Game Genie, sorry.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
Never happened though.
Yeah. Hacker alias Night Attack 09 says, I'm quite upset over my hometown team's hockey loss, so later I will vent some frustration out on Fortnite. What game or games do you have you used to cope with anything?
It used to be Batman Returns on the Sega CD because because I had that game down kind of the way I have Mega Man 2 down, where I could just play it and I didn't have to think too much and I didn't have to try too hard, and I could still I played that so much I knew that it took me exactly 1 hour and 3 minutes to finish it. Like that's how frequently I did that. And Mega Man 2 is the other one because it's not challenging anymore.
Right.
It's just I really, really enjoy that game, and I
like you said, you kind of have it committed to muscle memory at this point.
Right. So it's and it's just I love the music. I can sit there and I can hum along to it, and it just doesn't add any stress to whatever I'm doing. And so if I'm in a situation where I'm extremely stressed, I will absolutely just fire that up it helps me relax.
Yeah. I will admit to busting out like a Grand Theft Auto or a Crackdown and just running around and causing mayhem. Just I'm going to climb up on top of a building and get out a rocket launcher and just see what mayhem I can cause down below. You know,
Definitely.
I'm not above that. I've done it.
Yeah.
So
my go-to game for this is Rock Band.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
yeah,
Zoning out, playing music that I like. It's my go-to. It's my comfort food game.
Yeah.
You might say.
Musu is pretty good for that too.
Yeah,
Just-
I would say. Yeah,
Just
you're
get
right.
dumped into a big level and just run around and just slice through a couple thousand faceless goons.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hacker alias John Phil Mitch says, do you guys have any anecdotes about Pocket Games magazine? That was my
jeez.
fave at the time.
Actually, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter earlier this afternoon. I had posted I was digging through some boxes here, and I stumbled onto a collection of the old Game Now magazines, and found a handful of old Sega Visions, and I found some old Nintendo Powers.
Sega Visions.
And I actually found maybe half a dozen Pocket Gamers
Really?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I found
Nice.
it was a Pocket Games or Pocket Gamer. What was it?
Pocket Games. It was
It was
not
Pocket
Gamer.
Games.
Was
Pocket Gamer is an existing website.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Pocket Games was Ziff Davis's handheld focused magazine. It came out quarterly maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was that regular.
Yeah, there was no dedicated staff,
but it was a
for it.
special.
But it was, and what was interesting about it, because I know that, like, when you think back to the older sort of Ziff Davis specials, they were a lot of repurposed content.
right?
Like, I know that I forget what the Super Nintendo magazine was called, but there was like
The SNES Buyer's Guide.
Buyer's Guide, and then there was
Yeah.
one for Sega, which was Mega something or other. And then like you'd have the yearly Buyer's Guides where the only real new content would be sort of, we would do system reviews and stuff like that. But otherwise it'd be just a lot of repurposed content. But Pocket Games actually had a lot of the content was original. It wasn't just reprinting reviews from EGM or anything like that. So,
but it did have that too. Sometimes.
It did. Yeah, it was a
Took
mixture.
Some
but
of
it
the
was-
Pokemon content that I did for EGM and put that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fond memories of that magazine though, because that was the very first magazine I ever did any work for Ziff Davis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mark McDonald was the editor-in-chief a few times, and he gave me my first freelance gig for Ziff Davis through that. Just sent me a ton of Game Boy Color games to review.
Yeah.
For an issue.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, because like I said, there was no dedicated staff for that magazine, and usually they would just get they would get someone to act as sort of the EIC of the issue. But it was never like the same person. Like it'd be Mark one time, and then maybe another time it'd be Shu or something, and it was just kind of like whoever had like a light load or something. I don't know what.
I think it was also used as a bit of a training ground.
Yeah.
Where like you had people like Mark and who were sort of Mark was moving up in the company at the time,
right?
Moving to like sort of a executive editor role. I think is eventually what he ended up being. And I think it was good training for those kinds of people where
that makes
they weren't
sense.
taking over flagship magazines,
Right?
but they were getting a chance to run various things, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of the content was freelanced out. Occasionally, like I was working on Expert Gamer and Game Now during that time, but I would get tapped to write a couple reviews for Pocket Games as well, just kind of in my spare time for a couple extra bucks or something.
Right.
So
I remember too actually working with Mark on this, and I know that Expert Gamer reprinted this, but it was done for Pocket Games. Was the Metal Gear Solid Game Boy Color?
Oh right.
Strategy
yeah.
Which I had a ton of fun doing. Actually, I think I also did one for Pocket Games for Mario Golf for Game Boy Color.
Nice.
Fantastic game as well.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I did a lot of work on those magazines, and then after I left Ziff Davis, Pocket Games was still going, and it was Dan Peluso
Oh
with
yeah, yeah.
running them.
Right,
And I did a ton of work for them afterward as well. I still was going through an old computer and actually found a whole bunch of old Quark files.
Oh jeez. Wow.
Which is the program we used to use to do the
Quark
layouts and
Express.
everything. Quark Express. Yep. So yeah, this was good
Yeah.
times. I have a lot of fond memories of that magazine, and I'm sad to say that I don't think I have more than one issue of it here anymore.
Oh really?
I don't think I have any Pocket Games.
Yeah, it kind of
issues,
bums
or
me out.
DCM or official PlayStation magazine. I don't have any of that stuff anymore.
DCM. I forgot about.
I just have the EGMs that I worked on.
I don't even have all of those.
I remember there was an incident with Pocket Games involving Pokemon. Do you guys remember this?
Was it CJ's fault?
It was not my fault.
It was not CJ's fault. Do you remember what I'm talking about, CJ?
I don't remember the specifics.
This was again, kind of I think maybe Gold and Silver had just come out. I think that was the issue at the time. Or maybe it was still talking about just like Red and Blue. It was probably just talking about Red and Blue because they ran pictures in the magazine. I don't know if it was like a spread or 2-page spread or maybe even like a sheet of stickers that was bound into the magazine, but they were running images of all the first 151 Pokemon.
Ooh,
in that
we're
game.
allowed to do that.
And they had gotten, like the official artwork. I don't know, if they got it from Nintendo or what, but they had the official artwork of the first 150 Pokemon. But of course, you remember in Gold and Blue, or Red and Blue, there was 150 first Pokemon, which was Mew.
Right.
And they dug up because they wanted to be complete. So they ran a picture of Mew as well. And it turned out that the picture of Mew that whoever was putting the magazine together found was not the official artwork.
Right.
It was a piece of artwork that was commissioned by another magazine.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that.
And I forget what the other magazine was. And I think it may have been a rival handheld magazine. But yeah, this rival handheld magazine had commissioned an artist to draw a picture of Mew, and they ran it in their magazine, and whoever was, and I forget who it was, who was in charge of that particular issue, was just like, oh, let's just scan that picture and run it in our magazine. And that turned into a thing.
Yeah.
I think we had to pay the other publishing company X amount of dollars for stealing their content, and
ouch.
Oops.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah.
Okay.
Good times with that magazine. Really enjoyed that magazine.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Let us end this episode with this tweet from Mathman1024, who says, modern day Rip Van Winkle, an ardent gamer, goes to sleep and wakes up 10 years later. What does he see in the world of video games? All digital future.
All digital future. Yeah.
Probably. That would not surprise me. Yeah. Which is why I'm glad I upgraded my quality of life this past week.
Oh, newsflash.
Yep. Yeah.
What did you do, Phil? Let's admit it to everybody.
I already did. I posted about it on Twitter. See this right here, all you YouTubers. That is my 128 gigabyte micro SD card that used to be in my Switch.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's a 400 gigabyte micro SD card in my Switch.
Yes. You have a large fridge now.
I do have a big fridge. Amazon had a pretty good sale on micro SD cards this past week.
Yeah.
And with so many games now for Switch that are kind of requiring some forced downloads. I have Doom, which required a healthy download. You got the Mega Man Legacy Collection requires has a forced download.
Sure.
The Mega Man X collection is coming out, which I'm getting is going to have a forced download for that. So, more and more games coming out requiring that, even if you buy the
Physical,
physical versions. And of course, there's going to be digital exclusive games coming out as well. So,
sure.
I figured I will get while the getting's good, and get my my sizable SD card.
Well, there you go.
So I'm all set for 10 years from now. Rip. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
What else will we see? Will Battle Royale games have completely taken over?
No.
Or is that a passing fancy?
The Battle Royale genre is a lot like saying deathmatch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of different rule sets and variations on that you can do. And
right.
I think we will still be seeing variations on Battle Royale 10 years from now. Yeah.
Will VR be a sizable chunk of gaming at that point, do you think?
No.
Probably it'll be like it is today, where it's it's still around and people are doing really interesting things on VR, but it hasn't like replaced.
It's not the mainstream.
Yeah, replaced mainstream.
Yeah, that's probably where I am too on that.
Yeah.
So,
because remember 10 years ago, people thought, I guess 10 years ago, people thought that would be the last generation of consoles and that the PC was just going to become like a big thing. And now everything just kind of coexists.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Video did not kill the radio star.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's what I'm saying.
Very good.
I think I have a song that we can end the show with.
It's a good song.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52, lying awake intently tuning in on you.
All righty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something that you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find all sorts of contact information for us. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward. I mean, those are archives. Things in the past that he did. He's not doing any currently, but maybe in the future if people really like them, and hit some more. You'll also find Generation 16 episodes there.
Yep, still working on the next one.
Pretty awesome. And you will find show notes and links for all the stuff that we talked about during the show. If we did like a news story and you want to read more about it, you don't have to go down to your local library for the information. It's just right on our webpage in the show notes, and collect up some links for you to click on and get your information that way. And we also have a message board where you can discuss this fine episode of this podcast with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to Apple's podcast app. You can also head over to the Apple App Store and invest $1.99.
Capped.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. Gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. Also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android telephone users, Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
That's true. And you can find that right at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can head over to youtubes.com/P1 Podcast to check out video archives of our show, or to watch us live most weeks. And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It'll go towards my butt surgery. We're
gonna live stream it. We're gonna live stream it. So ads.
That's the next live stream.
Emphasis on the stream. As I'll be honest with you, people on medication that sometimes get hooked on it. I got a little hooked on that. I got a little hooked on that seawater poop juice, and now I can't get enough. I'm going to like shady parts of Seattle, talking to dudes in alleys, getting fake prescriptions so I can just get more and more gallons of that stuff. It's the best. I'm melting it, or I'm putting it in the freezer and making popsicles out of it.
Oh, gross. Phil's off to figure out the exact amount of sugar he needs to add to it.
Phil, what's the slang name for that stuff on the black market?
It's poop juice.
Just poop juice?
It's just poop juice. Yeah. Okay. Well, what else would you call it?
I don't know.
It makes you poop.
Shit disturber?
It's the
Starburst?
No, I'm just. it's actually pretty good.
That's my favorite one. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
You win. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm on a poop juice riot. Riot. You know.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my thing that I'm into these days. If you have a couple bucks left over, head over to Greg Stewart's website at generation-16.com, where you'll find the Patreon link to help support his outstanding web series about North America's number 2 favorite console, the Sega Genesis.
Thanks, Phil.
I love your show, Greg.
Yeah, I got to get that new episode out.
Yeah. I'm anxiously awaiting it. So there you go, CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.
And I want to remind everyone that if you love Player One Podcast, if you love having fun with some great people, we are going to be heading back to Scoop Fest this year in Las Vegas, Nevada from October 12th through the 14th. The good folks at Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social, a hilarious podcast if you like funny stuff. They're hosting the Scoop Fest again this year. They got live podcasts, they got live comedy, improv, awesome people. You can head over to heyscoops.com/scoopfestvegas to get information. They have early bird tickets on sale now. You can get into the special VIP night on October 11th. We're going to be chilling out at the Tournament of Kings at
Excalibur.
At Excalibur. So you can feel like medieval times, where if you had to poop like crazy, you had to do it in a hole in the dirt.
You know, it yourself.
Yeah, you didn't have fancy cameras to go up your butt. You just had to squat over a hole. It's gonna be great. No poop required.
No,
but you know,
poop required.
But you know, not, you know, I'm not gonna kink shame. And if you want to book your hotel at the Orleans Hotel and Casino, you can do so. You can also, there's a coupon code to get a discount. CJ, what is that coupon code? AICC10. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, we're going to be a lot of great scoops out at Scoop Fest this year. We hope to see a lot of you folks there as well. So please look forward to it. And I guess we'll see everybody next week. Let's
do it.
Good.
Tune around. Patreon supporters of the $5 and higher level, stick around. We got a post-show adventure coming. So please look forward to that too.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.